Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're diving into a story of high-stakes espionage, loyalty, and the tragic consequences of rebellion. We're picking up in 2 Samuel chapters 17 and 18, right in the middle of Absalom's coup against his own father, King David. So David has fled Jerusalem, and Absalom is now in the city, holding court. He has two main advisors: Ahithophel, who was once David's trusted counselor, and Hushai, who is secretly still loyal to David and is acting as a double agent. Ahithophel comes up with a brilliant, ruthless plan. He tells Absalom, "Give me 12,000 men, and I'll go after David tonight. He's tired and weak. We'll strike him down alone, and the rest of his people will flock to you. It'll be a quick, clean victory." Honestly, this was a solid military strategy. It would have almost certainly worked. Everyone, including Absalom, thought it was a great idea. But Absalom, wanting a second opinion, calls for Hushai. This is the moment David's fate hangs in the balance. Hushai, thinking on his feet, has to come up with a counterplan that sounds even better. He starts by respectfully disagreeing with Ahithophel. He says, "This time, Ahithophel's advice isn't good." He reminds Absalom how fierce David and his men are. "They're like a wild bear robbed of her cubs," he says. "They won't be caught off guard in some open field. David is a master strategist. He's probably already hidden in a cave or some other stronghold." Hushai then paints a vivid picture of disaster. He suggests that if Absalom's men are defeated in a small initial skirmish, the news will spread like wildfire, causing panic throughout Absalom's entire army. Morale would collapse. Instead, Hushai proposes a grand, epic plan. "Here's what you should do," he says. "Gather all of Israel, from Dan to Beersheba, a massive army as numerous as the sand on the seashore, and you, Absalom, lead them into battle yourself. We'll fall on David like dew on the ground, and not one of his men will be left. We'll overwhelm him with sheer numbers." Now, which plan sounds more appealing to a young, proud, and ambitious new king? A stealthy night raid, or leading a gigantic, glorious army into a decisive battle? Of course, Absalom and his men choose Hushai's plan. They were captivated by the grandeur of it all. The Bible tells us this was God's doing to bring ruin on Absalom and save David. Hushai knows he's just bought David some precious time. He immediately sends a secret message to David through his network of spies, which includes the priests Zadok and Abiathar and their sons. The message is urgent. "Do not spend the night at the fords in the wilderness. You must cross the Jordan River at once, or you and all your people will be swallowed up." Getting this message to David is a spy thriller in itself. The priest's sons, Jonathan and Ahimaaz, are waiting outside the city. A servant girl tips them off, but a young boy sees them and reports them to Absalom. The two messengers have to run for their lives. They find a house with a well in the courtyard and hide inside it. The woman of the house cleverly covers the well and scatters grain over it. So when Absalom's men come searching, they find nothing and give up. After the coast is clear, Jonathan and Ahimaaz climb out and deliver the critical warning to David. Hearing the news, David and all his people waste no time. They travel all night and cross the Jordan River. By dawn, every single one of them is safely on the other side. Meanwhile, when Ahithophel sees that his advice has been ignored, he knows it's all over. He realizes Absalom's rebellion is doomed to fail. He calmly goes home, puts his household in order, and then takes his own life. A tragic end for a brilliant but disloyal man. Now we move to chapter 18. The final confrontation is set. David organizes his loyal army into 3 divisions under the command of Joab, Abishai, and Ittai the Gittite. David wants to lead them himself, but his men refuse. They tell him, "You are worth 10,000 of us. It's better that you stay here in the city and send us support." Before they leave, David gives his commanders one very specific, heartfelt order. "For my sake, deal gently with the young man Absalom." All the troops heard this command. The battle takes place in the forest of Ephraim. and it's a slaughter. David's experienced veterans completely rout Absalom's massive but inexperienced army. The forest itself becomes a death trap, with more men dying from the terrain, the thickets, the ravines, than from the sword. And then, it happens. Absalom, riding his mule, goes under the thick branches of a large oak tree. His long, famous hair gets caught in the branches. The mule keeps going, leaving Absalom dangling helplessly between heaven and earth. One of David's men sees him but remembers the king's order and doesn't harm him. He reports it to Joab. Joab is furious. "You saw him and didn't strike him down? I would have given you 10 shekels of silver and a warrior's belt." The soldier stands his ground, saying he wouldn't disobey the king's direct order for 1,000 shekels of silver. But Joab is a pragmatist. He knows that as long as Absalom is alive, the war and the threat to David will never truly be over. He says, "I'm not going to waste time here with you." He takes 3 javelins and plunges them into Absalom's heart while he is still alive, dangling in the oak. Then 10 of Joab's armor-bearers surround Absalom and finish the job. The war is over. Joab sounds the trumpet, and the fighting stops. What a powerful and heartbreaking story. It shows us how one man's advice, rooted in loyalty, can change the course of history, and how a father's love persists even in the face of the ultimate betrayal. But it also reveals the brutal reality of power and the tragic cost of rebellion. Thanks so much for joining me today. What do you think about Hushai's strategy or Joab's decision? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into these incredible stories. See you next time.